Hey there knitters, welcome back. I'm Jana with Purl Together, and if you watched the Advent vlog series that I did with Amba O'Brien, you know that I'm in process of knitting her Radvent Throw pattern. This is a fantastic 24 block design. I showed you the cast on in a previous video that I chose to do, both the long tail version as the pattern indicates as well as the pinhole cast on. If you haven't started that yet, then I'll put the links to those previous videos down below. But now I'm going to show you how to troubleshoot a little bit or fix the pattern if you missed a yarn over, or if you happen to drop the yarn over off the end of a double pointed needle or your magic loop, and what you can do about that without having to tink back or unknit. Tink is unknit, knitting backwards. So I can show you how to fix that and kind of just what to be mindful of and how to read your knitting as you go along to minimize the mistakes and the number of times that you might have to go back and fix something. Okay, let's get started. Alright, normally when we're knitting with DPNs or magic loop, you want to make sure that your yarn is coming off the back of your previous needle. But in this case, we have to make sure we have a yarn over at the end of this row, right? Just like this whole pattern is knitted in quarters. So just like here at the end of this section where we have a yarn over, a knit one, and a yarn over, the same thing happens where our needles have a junction where we have knit one, a yarn over, and then we have this next knit one on the first needle. So we have to make sure we have our yarn over taken care of. So there's our yarn over right there, and we want to make sure that we have that as we go forward. So now we're just going to go ahead and knit a plain round. I trap this yarn here between my two fingers as I'm shuffling around my magic loop so that I don't lose it. Now, still sometimes it happens and you forget, and I'll show you how to mitigate that, how to go back and fix that if you miss a yarn over without tinking back. Okay, so now we're just knitting a plain row all the way around. Now, if you were to come upon this and realize, oh, I don't have my yarn over, and it looks like that, and you don't have your yarn over, well, all you need to do is go down and pick up this bar between them, and there's your yarn over. Now, if you don't have the extra slack because you didn't make your yarn over before, and you pick up that bar, the yarn over will appear smaller until you block it and the tension between the stitches all evens out. And it still might appear a little smaller than a properly created yarn over, but you don't have to tink back. So I'm just going to continue to do my plain row, paying attention to where the yarn overs would occur and making sure that I haven't missed any of them. Now I know I'm going to have one coming up here because you can see that these are yarn over, knit one, yarn over. So and that's the kind of the divider line between these quarter sections of our block. So I know that I should be expecting a yarn over coming up before that single knit stitch column, and there it is, right there. So had I not had one, I could have created one by simply picking up the previous bar. So there was the yarn over, and I'm just double checking on my plain knitting rounds, so that helps a lot. All right, I've gotten to the end of this needle, and I know that the normal sequence of this pattern is yarn over, which is here on the row below, knit two together, or slip slip knit, which is there. You can see that decrease, and then we knitted three. And then there should have been a yarn over here at the end of this needle, but there's not. But you can tell there should have been. So again, I'm just going to pick up this bar right here and make my yarn over. But just for the sake of reading your knitting and knowing what to do if you catch a mistake later, let's say I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that on my plain round, and I just kept on going, and I didn't catch it right then, and I didn't notice it until my count was off on the next row. I'll show you what we'll do about that. All right, I'm coming up on the end of this round and the end of this needle, and I'm doing my last yarn over with a slip slip knit, and I should have knit 3 yarn over to finish this round. However, I have knit 2. So what happened here was I missed a yarn over in the previous, or 2 rounds ago, in the previous odd numbered row. I missed a yarn over, and then I didn't knit it on my plain row. So you can tell that. Here's how you can tell that. You have your yarn overs coming up diagonally here along this ridge, and you can tell that you have the stitch we just knitted has 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows, and then the loop on the needle. But if you look back at the other end, there's the yarn over. Let's look at the other end before the single stitch. So there's 1 row, 1 row after the yarn over, 2, 3, and the one on the needle. And then there should be another one where you have a yarn over, 2 rows and the one on the needle, and then there's the yarn over that we just made. So this side should be correspondingly exactly the same, and it isn't because we missed a yarn over 2 rows ago. I hope that makes sense. So what we need to do here is go down and pick it up. So this bar would have been the yarn over. That would have been the yarn over. And then the bar above it should have been the knit stitch. So we know that should be a knit stitch, so we're just going to simply lift this up and over and pull that underneath and through. So shazam, there's our knit stitch. So we had our yarn over, slip, slip, knit, knit 1, 2, 3. Now we've corrected that, and then we'll have our yarn over properly placed for the next time. So that's how you can go back and fix it if you notice that you've missed one. I'll show you that again. Actually, I'll just go ahead and slip that out and show you that again. If you come up, particularly on a row like this, this works with double points or with magic loop, either one, and you do your yarn over, slip, slip, knit, and you're missing your extra third knit here, you know you've missed your yarn over 2 rows ago. Okay, so that would have been the yarn over. This bar would have created the knit stitch. So all I'm going to do is take the yarn over and take the bar underneath and through to create that knit stitch, and then go ahead and knit that normally, and there's your third one. And then again, we don't want to forget our yarn over going forward. So I'm going to adjust my magic loop, flip that over and trap that here, and make sure that it doesn't slip off the end of the needle while I'm adjusting my DP ends or my magic loop. Okay, now I can carry on and go ahead and knit my regular round. And double check your yarn overs all the way around. If you can get in the habit of doing this, you'll save yourself a lot of heartache with any lace project. If you can just get to where you're double checking your yarn overs and double checking your increases and decreases on your plain round or your resting round. I call it a resting round because it's really where you don't have to do anything. You're not creating yarn overs or making decreases. But you do need to get in the habit of double checking that the ones you've done are in fact in the correct place. Now, as you get more proficient with learning to read your knitting, that will become easier and easier as you're going along. So I can tell really plainly that this chevron is correct. These are diagonally 45 degrees going over, and you know that chevron is absolutely correct. And you'll be able to read your knitting with where the placement of the yarn overs and the decreases are, but that just takes practice. I hope you found that helpful. I'd love to see your squares. Even if you haven't assembled them yet, just post a photo in the Ravelry or the Facebook group or tag me on Instagram. I'd love to see your progress. If you found these videos helpful, give me a thumbs up, click the subscribe button as well as the bell notifications, and I'll see you next time.